All right, three, two. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Charge Shots Gamecast. I'm your host Ben, aka the Marvelous Ziggy. Joining me is my loyal companion, the man I wanted to go to the stars with one day, Justin
And Weasley.
and Weasley. Yeah, I forgot the cat was there. I just assume the cats are always hanging you. And joining us is the man who is finally back after a 3 week hiatus after being thrown through a steel table. Now he's back with us, Tyler. Tyler, welcome back once again.
Yeah, it was real hell getting those hemorrhages all worked out.
Yes, and Charge Shot does not offer insurance, so he has to pay for it all himself. Hashtag
Damn
capitalism.
it.
All
Hashtag
right.
American healthcare.
Yes, Karen from HR wants to talk to you after the show's over to go over the paperwork, and there's no lawsuit. All right. Either way, hello everybody. Welcome to the Charge Shot Gamescast. We are a weekly video game podcast where we talk about the news and game and the games we've been playing. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start it off with Justin, as per usual. Justin, as you struggle to play tug of war with your cat, for those who are not watching this live at twitch.tv/score, where we stream live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, usually. What have you been playing / up to this past week, my dude?
I have not. I mean, I'm continuing my Ratchet and Clank playthrough. I've been saying that. I am on a Kraken time. I don't remember if I said last week. I don't remember. Sorry, last week. I don't remember if I was on that one yet. Like if I had finished Tools of Destruction and Quest for Booty, but
I think you had just mentioned you were just about to beat Tools of Destruction, the first PS3 game.
okay,
Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
right.
yeah. So I beat that one, and then pretty much like same day did Quest for Booty because it's a very short game, like very short. Like I didn't realize how short it is. And that one's super unnecessary. It's I don't like I already owned it, so like I didn't have to go to the store for it or anything. But I'm really curious like how much it retailed for. Like it was a digital only title, but I would guess it was still like in the $10 to $20 range, and it's like 2 hours long and really has nothing of value in it. So that's kind of a shame that they even decided to make it, honestly. Uh, but anyway, then I moved on to a Kraken Time, which is fantastic. Like, I didn't think I'd played it before because I didn't own it. But I'm guessing it's one of my games that was stolen. And so I had to buy it again. But like I've been playing through quite a bit, and like everything, like as I play, I remember that I've done it before. But it's still just like it's a hoot. Like this is like peak Ratchet and Clank. And I'm really excited. I'm probably about halfway, I'd say. And I'm really excited to beat this one and talk about it because I have a lot to say. A lot positive, which is nice after two kind of PS3 stinkers. um, so yeah, that's cool. And then I watched a playthrough of Resident Evil Village because I can't play that game. But I
Same.
was still really excited for it to come out. And like I don't want to get into spoilers or anything because that game is nuts. Like even by Resident Evil standards, it's nuts. Uh,
Oh yeah.
but it's really cool. Like it's definitely better than 7. It's really no contest. Like it has a lot of the ecosystem of 4, like with the attaché case as your inventory, obviously, and the Duke as your merchant. But also just like the structure of it feels very similar with like a hub village and a mansion to explore and like underground areas, like kind of a sewer system and a bit of a factory space. Like oh, it hits a lot of the same beats as 4 did, but with that like Resident Evil 7 first person view engine type thing, and obviously continuing Ethan's story. Um,
The
but
shenanigans of Ethan Winters.
yeah, the most generic leading man in Resident Evil history. Uh, he occasionally has like one-liners whenever he beats enemies, but they're all dumb, and he says them with such apathy. It's like he knows they're dumb, but they're in the script, so he has to say them.
Should have quit while they were ahead.
Kinda, yeah, but worse.
That's definitely has to be a callback to 4 with Leon and his smarminess.
Maybe, but Leon was at least charming.
Right, this is a callback. Doesn't it was a good callback.
Fair. Like he beats one of the daughters, like, you know, Lady D's bug daughters, and he just goes, "I'm really sick of bugs." Like, that's the line.
It really bugs me.
Right. Like, that at least would have been acceptable if he's like, "Man, these daughters are really starting to bug me." But, like, no, it was just a throwaway that meant nothing.
Turns into the Duke Nukem tweet thread.
But, like, the game is a lot of fun. Like I said, obviously I'm not playing it, but, like, I experienced the whole thing, you know. And, I mean, it's got the traditional Resident Evil structure of, like, you kind of start in a suspenseful area, and then it gets real scary and creepy for a while, with, like, some, like, serious survival horror elements, and then by the end, you're kind of an unstoppable killing machine, and it's just a, you know, just a shoot-'em-up fest, with some ridiculous boss designs. But the story is wackadoodle, but interesting. I still don't care about Ethan as a character, but, like, I'm invested in, you know, the story that they send him on. And I'm really curious how it's going to lead into the next game. I'm not sure if they were setting up DLC or setting up another game, but there's some interesting threads that are left there. And the ways that it actually does tie back into Resident Evil 7 is really cool, because obviously this is, like, in Romania or something like that. I think some fake location that's, like, you know...
Eastern Europe.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, it's a fake location, but, like, it's in Europe.
Yeah.
Whereas Resident Evil 7 was, like, in the bayous of America. So, like, how could they even be connected aside from Ethan? But they are, and it's pretty cool. And there's a few fun ties to past games too, but not a lot. The one thing that was kind of weird to me is, like, there's not a single zombie in the game. Like
that in Resident Evil 4 as well.
Yeah.
Well, the Las Plagas were a form of the T-virus.
No, they were not.
I thought they were.
Nope.
I thought they were a mutation.
Their own...
Okay.
They're not. They're an ancient virus that they unhurt. They have nothing to do with Umbrella or anything. Wesker wants them because, of course he would, but they're not connected to any kind of virus. They're their own. It's its own thing. That's why, like, it's more of like a parasite than, say, like the T virus is like a thing that mutates somebody. The Plagas, as you didn't play Resident Evil 4, they fucking spawn out of things.
Yeah.
So, like,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess now that you mention it, it isn't always zombies. Umbrella kind of dabbles in a lot of weird stuff.
Like Resident Revelations, the first one, they're like aquatic sea creatures.
Yeah.
Like that kind of takes. There's a zombie boss fight, but that's yeah.
Fair enough.
We're beyond the point where Resident Evil is just zombies anymore. We've way past that point.
Yeah, but, like, there's such a better, like, enemy diversity than in 7 when it was just a bunch of goo monsters. Like, same goo monsters over and over again. Now there's, like, the Lycans and the, you know, obviously the daughters, which are kind of like mid-bosses, but, I mean, they're enemies.
And
there's flying things and...
Yeah. One enemy that will literally not make you sleep at night.
Yeah.
And one enemy that, sure, I want to wake up at 4 a.m. to that. I'm not going to say what it is, but if you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think the 4 houses, like, you know, the 4 main people are a spoiler. And I will say, like, creepy doll chick, no. But for the most part, like, after you get out of the mansion, it definitely has a lot of ups and downs. Like, the pacing kind of goes all over the place for a while. And, like, what I would consider the final main area is pretty lackluster. But, like, the whole end of the game is, like, it's a roller coaster. So it's worth getting through that, But oh my god, Weasley. Ow. But it's kind of a mess along the way. Anyway, yeah. And aside from those, I've played a slew of mobile games. So I did a video on one called Diecast, which is basically like a card and die based like digital board game with some kind of like D&D style RPG elements to it, where you have a handful of cards, but the cards have like some kind of like die roll on them. So some of them are like set numbers 1 through 6. Others are like specialty moves. And then others are like, basically a range of die. So it could be like even numbers, odd numbers, random, which is 1 through 6, that kind of thing. And so your hand of like, I think 5 is the max, can be any of those varieties with kind of a leaning towards the ones that you choose to bring in, but you can also just pick up random ones too. And so you're moving around the board, like kind of a square board, and each square has some kind of event on it. So like you might pick up a treasure chest or land on a monster spot where you have to hit the right die number to capture the monster. And if you don't, they do damage to you. And there's, various things like that. There's some like that are just spikes that do damage. There's like a book of spells that have random effects. They might like up your attack power or give you gold or do damage to the enemy, that kind of thing. Like you don't know what it's going to do when you land on it. And then there's attack spaces. And when you land on those, your current attack power, which is based on like your level, plus any like things that you've picked up on the map, your attack power does that much damage to the enemy. And obviously the goal is to, take down their health before they take down yours. And there's a lot of strategy involved, but also sometimes it can just evolve into randomness. Like sometimes it feels like you get on a winning streak and then all of the RNG just slaps you in the face. And it's like, just boom, 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 like land on spikes and then get thrown in jail and then like get like a bad draw and then they attack you 3 times in a row, and like that can get really frustrating because you get more points, like victory points, when you're on a winning streak. So they really like to crush that and make you want to spend money. But there's a bunch of different heroes that you can unlock that have their own special abilities. So some might be specifically attack focused, and others are more tricky. Like my favorite character is Ivy, and whenever she attacks an enemy, she binds them in vines that slow their movement. So like, let's say you hit them and it has like a 3 on them. So they have to roll above a 3 in order to move. And if they roll 3 or below, they just like tick down the vine timer. And so that could be a fun way to like stop them in their tracks and kind of get a little bit of a head start. And she also has another ability where if you attack an enemy that is stuck in vines, it does like double damage or something. Which can basically take them out in one hit if you have high enough attack power. So there's some really cool stuff there. And I've been playing it a lot. Like it's fairly grindy, because every match you win, you get a treasure chest that has like just stuff in it that goes towards like your hero abilities and your gold and things like that. But then you also have to spend gold to actually upgrade the heroes once you've like buffed them with the post-game bonuses. So I have like 3 heroes right now that are maxed out because I can't afford to upgrade them anymore. And I don't get enough gold from matches to get up to that like hundreds of thousands gold threshold. So even if I get 1 up that high, I still have others that need just as much gold again. So like some of the mobile game stuff is frustrating, but just playing the game is really fun. I think I've spent like $7 in it so far, just because like I've put the time in. You know, I feel like they earned the money. But some of the gold prices and stuff are stupid expensive. I like it was like 100,000 gold was like $30. It's insane.
That sounds about right for a mobile game.
Yeah,
to charge that much.
But like I said, three of my characters need 350,000 to go up to the next level. So like, do the math on that. Like, I don't want to do the math right now, but it gets pretty intense. But yeah, I'm also just like, I'm addicted to playing it, so whatever. Another one that is not a free to play game is called Ticket to Earth, which I think has gotten some play before. Like it's done fairly well publicly. And it's like $5 on the App Store. It's not bad. And there's no microtransactions or anything once you pay that. So it's kind of nice. But it's also kind of an RPG game. God, I hate that. It's an RPG. Sorry. I hate that, like, people say, like, ATM machine and, like, PIN number and, you know. I did the thing I hate. But, yeah, it's more of a strategy RPG. So you go into a battle and it kind of lays out a grid, like those, like, match 3 puzzle games, you know, where there's, like, different colors of tiles and stuff. But the grid is your movement. So, like, if there's, let's say, like, kind of a Z shape of like orange spaces, you can, you know, slide your finger across that and move that many spaces. But if you're surrounded by things that are like 2 at a time, like, you don't get to move very far. And however far you move also dictates your attack power. So like, you build up your attack power by going across so many spaces and reaching an enemy and attacking them. And you also have some different abilities that can kind of manipulate that. Like, I have one that'll like change a whole line into a specific color. So like, if you're trapped and like can't get to the enemy, you can drop this ability, create a line, and then, you know, have that much more movement to get to where you want to go. But the enemies also move on that same grid. So sometimes like they'll take the path you want, and you're like, so you're trying to move as much as possible while also cutting off their path to you. So there's some pretty cool strategy in there. But the game itself is kind of like a robot apocalypse type thing. It kind of reminds me of iRobot, where like they have, like, everyone has these robots in their homes. They do everything for them, and then they go evil. So they start like ushering all of the people into death camps, basically, to try to kill off all the humans. So it's only like robots and like mutants left, and you play one of like the few remaining humans trying to kind of, you know, defend your turf against all of the robots and aliens, or robots and mutants. And so there's a pretty cool story, and it's told through like kind of some nice art, like comic book panel type things. There's not a lot of animation or anything. It's usually static shots, but it still looks really nice, I think. And
shock.
that's what I thought too. And there's a few playable characters. I think there's only 2. I just got a second one, so I'm assuming there's only 2. But one is melee and one is ranged, and the ranged guy has some pretty cool abilities too. Like the more he moves, like the more spaces he moves, the wider his attack range gets, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in that one, but it's a little harder to explain. But I definitely recommend checking it out. The hardest part about that is like the grid is kind of small. So like, I have a Note phone, so like I pull out the stylus and use that to make my trails and stuff, because otherwise my finger gets in the way and I can't tell like what's what. So that's a minor problem, but The last one I've mostly been playing is I did reinstall Genshin Impact because I was like, maybe I'll enjoy it more on a phone. Like, it seems kind of like it's built for mobile, even though you can play it on console. And I mean, it's still a great game, but I've had a hard time getting super into it. But the final one I've really been playing is called Another Eden. It has a subtitle. It's like a cat outside of space and time or something like that. I don't remember. But it's a fairly traditional RPG. So like, you know, turn based. You have a party. The whole like touchscreen interface is actually pretty intuitive. You tap on the character and then you tap on like the icon above them, and it shows the different attacks they have. And if you hold on the attack, it'll tell you like what it does, damage output, that kind of thing. So you select the attack, you hit the attack button, and they all, you know, they attack in sequence. And so it moves pretty quick. There's a button for like repeat if you just want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. There's an auto attack button. Like, it's smooth. And it's the type that is random encounters. So you're running around the field and it goes to combat, but it's seamless. Like, you're in and out of combat very quickly. So the game moves quick. I like it. Again, very pretty art style, very nicely animated. It's a unique art style. I wasn't sure about it at first, but the more I've seen some of like the cutscenes in it and stuff, the more I like it. Because it's very smoothly animated and there's like a cohesion to the look. It kind of reminds me of like if Genshin Impact was 2D. If that helps explain the art style. It's kind of that cutesy anime, like stylized look, but it's all kind of like HD 2D art. I don't want to call them sprites because they're smoothed out and like look like artwork, but it is 2D. But the one weird thing is the way you move around, because you basically are on a side-scrolling panel, and there's some things like behind and in front of you, but it's like interactables. So like you'll run by and it'll have like a exclamation point or whatever, and you tap on that to like interact with the thing that's, you know, outside of your walking path. And I didn't think I was gonna like that at first because like there's not a lot of exploration to it. But when you actually get to the area maps, there's like multiple paths to go down and stuff. So like you'll be running across and then you'll have to like swipe down to go to like the next lane and then go across, and like you might find, you know, a hidden treasure chest or something like that. And there's some paths with like super powerful enemies that it like warns you not to attack. So you have to kind of like go up and around them and or like stay out of their vision. So there's still some cool stuff with the exploration, but it is like, you know, swiping side to side on a 2D screen. But the story is really cool. I think this game is from the Chrono Trigger creative team. I'm pretty sure I read that. It's kind of a similar idea where you're like traveling through time and you're not really sure why. Like you just kind of get thrown into a portal and end up in the future and you're like, wait, what? Why am I here? What happened? Where am I? But there's cats involved. Not sure why yet, but that's fine. There's cats. And this is a free-to-play game, so like the mobile aspects come in with the fairly light so far gacha elements. So you can like summon party members to join you from like across space and time. Like I got this nicely designed caveman woman. I'll say that. Who's kind of like a barbarian class, because everyone has like a skill tree for their, you know, for their abilities and stuff they earn. And I picked her because of the character art. I'm not gonna lie.
Basically alien at this point, right?
Sorta, yeah. But she doesn't have a tail. But the one weird thing about that is because it's just kind of like gotcha partner party members, they have nothing to do with the story. Like when it goes to a cutscene, you just see your main hero, And then like when like the story stuff is, because like he's like he's not interacting with anyone. He's by himself, like talking out loud. And then like, you know, you'll gain control again and you start running and like your party member is there with you. And it's like, it's kind of jarring because you just have this random I just have this random caveman woman with me. And suddenly we're like 800 years in the future and she has nothing to say about it. So like, it's weird that the gotcha elements seem kind of shoehorned because they don't have anything to do with it. I think they're just there to get money.
Yeah.
But I picked it back up this afternoon, and got a little bit further and unlocked the ability to do these like just kind of special like side stories. And I found one that is a Persona 5 tie-in. So I started doing that and it was really cool because it was like all the Phantom Thieves like in this game's art style. And like you're in Mementos, like running around fighting things, and it introduces all the characters, so you know, in case you don't know the game. And then they find a portal and get launched into the other game's world and have to figure out what they're doing. And that's where I left off. But it's really cool to like, you know, run around this game's world as Joker and Mona. Like it's the little things, you know.
Yeah, it's always nice to have those guys back in action.
Yeah. But it is like Joker talks a lot, and like I mean there's no voice acting in the game, but it's still weird how much dialogue he gets for like being the silent protagonist, even though he has a voice. I realize that.
Yeah, he has a voice, and he does talk a lot more frequently in the animated version of Persona 5 as well, and he has some really funny lines in the English dub.
Yeah, so I mean it's canon that he has a voice, so I guess like it's fine. But I'm so used to everyone else talking, and then like, you know, you just selecting a prompt, that it was weird that he was like, come on guys, let's go, like we like, you know, really being a leader. But yeah, it's a cool game, and it's like I said, it's a fairly traditional RPG, just with some light like grinding mobile gotcha elements in there. I'm sure they get more obnoxious as you go, but so far it's just an enjoyable RPG adventure, and the story's pretty cool. But yeah, I think that's all I got. I took a lot of time. Sorry.
Yeah, this is the mobile game episode starring Justin. So I'm
that's all I've had time to play.
Hopefully, you're watching this episode on a mobile device.
Yes.
You got phones, also, don't you?
For the Chrono Trigger people on it, it is Masato Kato as the scenario writer,
yeah,
and Yasunori Mitsuda, who is the music composer. So that alone might get me to at least download the game.
See, I wasn't playing with music, so like, because I was at work.
Okay, you're missing the best part then.
Probably. I know, but I was recording it this afternoon, because I'm gonna do a video on that one, and so I'll listen to the footage because my screen recorder does like in-phone audio.
Okay. All right, Tyler, you've been gone for 3 weeks after going through a wooden table. What have you been up to?
A lot, actually. For those that don't know why I've been absent from the show for the last, I don't know, probably like a month or something, I was in the process of applying for a new job and quitting my old one. So I worked out my schedule with my new employer, and now I'm available every single weekend, every single evening in the foreseeable future.
Whoop whoop.
So I apologize for not explaining all of this sooner on social media and having my fellow co-hosts scramble to get all the new guests for these past few episodes. But now I'm back, and I have returned to the stage of history.
Nice. I mean, our guests were great. We thought about not bringing you back, but, you know, here we are.
His words, not mine.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it was really fun editing those episodes and hearing your takes on stuff. So that was cool, at least. But, yeah. The job transfer wasn't the only thing I was busy with this week. I just got myself a beefy new PC as well. Basically, my old one is starting to give out. It's a piece of junk that constantly updates and just slows everything down. So it's a real pain in the ass to continually edit and record with this thing. So now I won't have to worry about my audio crashing like in the second episode of Atomic Shark that we did. And again, I apologize for that.
Hey, I salvaged it. That was a pretty good episode still.
You did, and I'm eternally grateful for that. I couldn't have done that shit. But yeah, now that I have a new PC, I can also go back to streaming and play some higher end games on my computer. One of which that I've been tinkering with was Tekken 7, because of course I was. So yeah, I was able to get the PC version to run at 60 frames per second, and now I'm able to play with mods. So in Tekken 7 or Tekken 5 onwards, I guess, you can customize your characters with these special clothing options, which range from incredibly stylish to incredibly goofy at points. But now with mods, you can pretty much go the extra mile, depending on what you find, of course. When I was looking on DeviantArt the other day, most of the character mods for costumes and stuff were all basically thirst traps. But
Like you do.
I found some pretty neat mods for some of the characters on there. There was one that turns Gygus, one of the new characters introduced in Tekken 7, this big red hulking monster dude, and the mod just turns him into Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh.
I thought
It's
you were going to
pretty
say Red
funny.
Hulk.
You know, I didn't find that one, honestly. Another one I did find was it turns Kuma, the big bear, into Gumby, so you can pretty much just fight as a giant Gumby, and that's pretty funny. One of the cooler ones I found was there's a mod that transforms Asuka Kazama into fucking Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII, like
That's a
down
very
to
popular mod.
yeah, down from the face from the remake, and yeah, that's pretty sick. But the one that I've been playing with the most was the Various Suit mod for Nina Williams, because she's pretty much just Samus, and yeah, I feel like that fits really well. It's super cool.
They need a Zero Suit variant, though.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised there isn't one already, considering that's the biggest shock to me.
Well, I mean, in the actual game, there's like a black jumpsuit that you can pretty much customize to be blue, so I think that would probably be the closest one.
I guess.
But yeah, I've been playing a bit of Tekken 7. The other game that I've been messing with on my PC isn't exactly a high-end one that takes a whole lot of graphical fidelity. I've been playing a whole bunch of Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth because I got it on sale from the Golden Week sale a few weeks ago, and I've been back on that game's bullshit. So, yeah, those games are pretty fun. It's a 2-game deal. It comes with the original Cyber Sleuth and the side story called Hacker's Memory. The game that I've been spending the most time on is the latter one, because there are specific Digimon breeds that you can get in that one that you can't get in the original Cyber Sleuth. So,
Is that the game where you made us?
yeah. Although that was the Switch version, I'm now playing it on PC just because. And now that I'm playing a new game, I pretty much just restarted everything. I have a new team lined up. Everyone is more or less the same breeds that I picked out for you guys. Like, I made Justin Angemon because he's usually a more ranged fighter, and I feel like that would fit Justin pretty well.
And because I'm an angel.
Yes,
Hand
that's
of
true.
Fate! Ah, can't get that call attack out of my head now.
It's actually called Heaven's Knuckle in the Japanese version and in the game proper. Which
That
I feel
sounds
like
better!
Yeah.
That sounds so much cooler!
Yeah, man. A lot of the Japanese names are way cooler than the English ones.
It's almost as if Japan's better than us at naming conventions.
Yeah, I know, right? So, speaking of the show, the Digimon Story games pretty much almost have nothing to do with the original series, if you're familiar with those at all. It's basically its own continuity, where there's basically a cyberspace that people can go in called Eden, where folks can meet up on the internet and just do shopping or whatever. It's basically like Sword Art Online, without all the broken nonsense.
Oh
But,
no.
yeah, where there's an internet space, there are bound to be hackers, and they pretty much use Digimon programs to cause all sorts of problems. So, in either game, whether it's the original Cyber Sleuth or Hacker's Memory, your main character is going to be different, and their motivations are more or less different. But the way they do things is pretty much the same. You basically have the Digimon program where you can scan Digimon that you fight and have them added to your party if you fight them enough times, which is kind of better than the Pokemon catching mechanic, if I do say so myself. Because there isn't a random factor to it. I mean, there kind of is, but you don't have to throw like a million Pokeballs just to catch, like, I don't know, an Agumon or something, because that doesn't get old. Both the stories are completely different. They take place at around the same time as each other, though I do recommend playing the original Cyber Sleuth first if you want to get into this, because there are characters introduced in Hacker's Memory that appear pretty prominently, but you won't understand what their deals are if you haven't played the original first.
So is it like the same progression? Is it kind of like a third, the third version of a Pokemon game, where it's like you're going through the same stuff, but like with added content and whatnot?
Well, I mean, the main characters are different, and they're going through their journeys at the same time, but the time frames are a bit skewed, I think. Like, I don't know what the exact progression is, depending on specific events. Like, there's a point in the original Cyber Sleuth where you get to a certain point about an hour in, I think. And in Hacker's Memory, you get to that specific point at around the 3-hour mark, I think. So, I don't know.
It's quite a bit different.
Time's a bit dodgy, but, there are some things that you'll notice if you play the original.
Mm.
But, yeah, you pretty much use the Digimon programs to solve a bunch of people's problems. They usually call into your agency to pretty much resolve a Digimon-related incident, or just stupid shit like, I want to know how to make friends, so give me this book to help me figure out how to do the thing. And, as for battles, I feel like it's probably the best part of the game. Because when you start the game, it gives you the option of choosing one of 3 starter Digimon. It's different for each one. Ben, I will say this now. If you pick up the original Cyber Sleuth, it can start you out with Palmon.
Yes!
You'll be able to start out with Palmon right off the bat.
Yes!
Isn't it the little fairy thing from Genshin Impact?
No. It's a little plant that turns into a giant punch cactus.
Also, not nearly as annoying.
I know, it's Paimon. I was making a joke. But anyway.
Okay.
The punch cactus sounds dope.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. A lot of these Digimon designs are.
What was its attack called in English when it would spin around and throw needles at you? Was it Tornado?
Needle Spray.
Needle Spray!
It's still called that in the game. I'm pretty sure that's unchanged.
Nice.
But, you start off with one of 3 Mons, and as you fight other Digimon as you progress through the game, or if you're grinding, whichever comes first. Grinding is inevitable in this game, I'll say that right off the bat.
No!
Hey man, the grind isn't as painful as you would think, because Digimon actually level up super fucking quickly. Like, I'll get to Digivolving in a bit, but as you fight Digimon, you pretty much scan their data, and if you fight them enough times, you'll have enough data so that you can convert them and have them added to your party. And you can have up to 11 Digimon in your party at a time, but 3 of them are always participating in battles. And they all have different types, different attributes. There's a weakness wheel going on with between vaccine, data, and virus Digimon. So, and the way battles work is they all function on this wheel. and as well as the attributes like fire, light, darkness, whatever. And it's basically like Final Fantasy X, the battle system, because it's pretty much turn based, and you have the prediction grid on the right, kind of like how 10 did, and it's all based on the Digimon speed. So if you boost their speed stats a whole bunch, it's possible for them to get more than one turn before your opponent does. So there is a bit of strategy to all that. And a lot of Digimon have generic elemental attacks, physical attacks that they can learn through different forms and stuff. And they also have their own unique special moves depending on the breed. Like Agumon has his trademark Pepper Breath. Whatchamacallit? Palmon has the Poison Ivy. You know, all that stuff. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses, but every single breed excels at something, and none of the Digimon in this game I feel are useless at all, except the Entrainings, because that's a given. They're a bunch of blobs. They only shoot bubbles. What can you do?
Oh, blast!
So yeah. Speaking of Digimon forms, you can make your Mons Digivolve or Evolve or Shinka, whichever you prefer. I don't know. And when your Mons gain a specific level or have different numerical values to specific stats, they're eligible to evolve into greater forms. And unlike Pokemon that has like a set evolution chain, Digimon can pretty much branch off into different evolutions. Like, say, Agumon normally digivolves into Greymon, right? Makes sense. It's a big dinosaur that shoots fire. And in this game, if you don't want it to become a Greymon, you can make it like, I don't know, like Growlmon or Tyrannomon or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. It's really flexible, and you can, and depending on your mood or what's available to you in your current party, you can pretty much custom make your entire party to be whatever you want at any given point. And I will say this, if you do plan to get into these games, there is a hidden stat called ABI, which pretty much increases when you evolve or devolve your Mons. And in my first playthrough, I didn't know about this. Like, I had a Metal Greymon up to the point where Megas were going to be introduced. And I wanted it to become a War Greymon so that it'll be able to stack up to it, right? I didn't know about the ABI system. And when it was at the specific level that it was going to be, all the stats met the criteria, but its ABI wasn't high enough. So I had to de-evolve my Metal Greymon into its weaker forms just so I can raise its ABI enough so it can become a Mega later on.
Wow.
So yeah, it is a bit annoying, and that's kind of where the grindiness comes in. But I think the battle system is simple enough that the grind isn't really painful. And it also helps that every single Digimon levels up really quickly, and the threshold for Digivolution isn't absurdly high unless you're going for like the Royal Knights or any of the 7 deadly Digimon or something like that. But yeah. Yeah. For this playthrough, I decided to name the main party members after all my friends. As I mentioned, Justin is Angemon. I basically made Ben Lilymon, who just reached that point earlier this morning.
Yes.
And I pretty much made me War Growlmon, because out of the 3 of us, I feel like I would be the virus of the group. And it also helps that its mega form is Gallantmon, one of my all-time favorites. So it'll be a while before it gets to that point, because it's a Royal Knight and it takes an absurd amount of ABI to reach that form. So, yeah. It's been fun. I've been having a blast playing through Hacker's Memory again. But other than that, I've just been playing a whole bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh! Nothing new with that. Just been playing Link Evolution, and real life duels. So yeah, that's it for me.
All right, thank you, Tyler, for that and kicking off my Digimon nostalgia. Good lord.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay,
available. I think it's on sale on the eShop now.
I'll have to check. I have a whole bunch of other things playing, so if I buy it, I won't touch it for a while.
Nice.
I've always
So
thought about it, but I don't understand Digimon, so I feel like I wouldn't get anything out of it.
It's basically Pokemon, except the
cooler.
evolutions are much more flexible. Like, not one Digimon is specifically tied to an evolution line. You can make it whatever you want.
And it's not tied to the cartoon, so there's no nostalgia outside of seeing the designs again. But if you don't know the designs, like, oh,
Its
what is
back
this
animations are still the same from the show, though, so there's that at least.
That's neat. All right, I'll have to look into this. My nostalgia needs to be tickled. But I wanted to talk about one thing I forgot to talk about last week, which is when I got my new PC, obviously. I wanted to test it out, and I wanted the first game I obviously downloaded that I first came out was Street Fighter V, of course. But then I was like, you know what? I need to put it to the test. I need to see what it can kind of really do, and I don't even still think it's a litmus test. But I downloaded it. Xbox is so far only exclusive of this console generation, which is the Medium, because it's on Xbox PC Game Pass. So yeah, I got that. And it's a survival horror game with fixed camera angles. Nobody talked about it when it came out, and obviously with Resident Evil, I think with Resident Evil 8 kind of being in the atmosphere, I kind of wanted to play a spooky game. And number one, it looks really nice. You know, smooth 60 FPS, very 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 cool looking game. You play as Miriam, who's a medium, which basically she can see people as they just died and basically send them off to the afterlife. So pretty much, it looks like it's gonna follow in like basically like the Resident Evil, like modern Resident Evil, where you have puzzle elements that you do in the real world, and it kind of has like an inventory system, like the like RE2 and RE3 remake and RE7 and even RE8. Even though this came before RE8, but you know what I mean, modern Resident Evil kind of inventory style, and combining stuff. I played the whole tutorial level, which is basically her preparing her father or her surrogate father to be basically finalized, so we can have his funeral. He's passed away. Interesting note that if you explore around a little bit, the game takes place in like early 1990. I'm assuming it's like 1992 because it talks about the fall of the Soviet Union. There's a letter about Bill Clinton talking about it, so it's kind of cool. And I think you're taking place in Eastern Europe, and I'll get into exactly why. But then you go down to the morgue to basically put on like his tie and his tie clip and everything like that. As soon as that happens, lights start to flicker, shit starts happening. What the fuck's going on? You go out of the morgue, and then you see on the stairway like this shadow thing, this humanoid thing shadow. You don't get a sense of what it is. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So, but then you walk to it, it's nothing. So it's like it could have been the lights or something. But then you notice that somebody had rummaged through her surrogate father's office. She has a very tender moment where it seems like she can't control the powers. It just happens. So like, she's at her father's desk, and I think it's like triggered by a memory or something, or triggered by some strong presence. And so she basically, she goes into this other dimension, or I guess in between dimension. She gets white hair. She gets these things in her arm, and she basically sees her surrogate father still working as if he's still alive. He thinks he's still alive, and he's basically trying to tell her like, "It's okay. You can stop. You don't need to do any more." Very, very sweet moment. Sends him off to the afterlife. Shortly after, she gets a call from this random stranger. You don't know who it is. It's like, "I need your help. The darkness is coming." Yada yada yada. And
Chris
she goes,
Redfield.
"All right, I'm gonna hang up on you." And then he says the one thing that gets her is that it always starts with a girl running in the forest, right? And she says that because opening dialogue is Miriam constantly has a dream of this girl running away from something, but she doesn't know what it is, doesn't know what's going on, and like, how else would you know that? So she gets on her bike, she goes all the way to this resort that's now been basically shut down. Like, it's all, trees growing over it, it's abandoned, and most of our horror games take place in the dark, with the exception, like, RE8 obviously has a lot of day sections where you can see the sun. This game's opening area starts out in like a very creepy Eastern European forest. Like, you ever seen any videos of like, there's something real weird about Eastern European forests and like how there's something there, but you don't know what it is, and it's just unsettling. And to me, I think a good horror game really gets you when you can freak the player out in the daytime. And I had my Bluetooth headphones on, so I could hear everything. Um, and your first goal is basically is to get through this gate. But you have to basically find a way around to get past it. But you can go into this little office room and see like the how the road continues, and you see this abandoned car, and you see this person. I'm assuming it's a person just shuffling along the road. I'm like, what is that? And like, she's calling out to him, but she's calling out to that person, but doesn't know. So you go on a little bit. You're walking through the forest, and like it does a nice job of like telling you you're on a linear path, but still making it look open. The game is obviously very, very linear, but that's besides the point. So it looks like the game is going to be this, and this is coming up. This is the gimmick of the game. Now Miriam will, like, I guess during points, her powers will trigger, and so basically, how to solve puzzles is one side will be doing in the spiritual world to grab one thing that will activate something on her end. That seems to be the gist of it, and also the frame rate gets cut in half because it's split screen. So it's fine. Obviously, that would, like, I don't think that's just a PC thing. I just think that's probably like what they have to do to get it to run, like even probably on console. It'll probably drop like to 30 frames per second, but I still think it looks like a nice game. I'm looking to play more. I need to play it at night, and when I play it at night, I'm tired, so like it's just trying to find time to continue with it more. But I was definitely very impressed. Outside of that,
is it like the whole game isn't split screen then?
No, it's only during specific moments,
Okay.
and I've only encountered the first one. So it looks because, like I said, her she you can't turn on and off her powers; they kind of just happen.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm interested to see what the story is. And the game, I'm told, is not long. It's like 7 to 10 hours, which is good because I definitely want to play it more. No combat yet. I think there will be combat, but nothing got into it yet.
Because I meant to watch a playthrough of that, and I didn't think about it, and then I was finding Resident Evil 8, and so I never got back to it. But maybe I'll do that next.
Yeah. Besides that, what else have I been playing? Playing Monster Hunter as usual, playing with Thomas and everything. That game is still going very, very well. We hit the point where like now all the new armor and weapons we've hit that point, but now they cost an absurd amount of money. And I'm like, oh god, this is the grind. This is Monster Hunter. We've officially made it. The game is still fun though. And I've learned that yes, you can do hub quests by yourself. Because while Thomas and I only play it once a week, I'll still occasionally on my mornings, on my days off, I'll play, like, do a couple of hunts I've already done before, just to hack some monsters up and get some experience and stuff like that on the side, while I slowly build my way up to the next rank. We currently hit rank 5, and we're making our way to rank 6, so we're getting there. We're slowly getting there, so that's a lot of fun. Besides that, Pokemon Snap has definitely leaned towards more of the I really like this game progression problems aside, and that, again, that's in my opinion, that's a minor thing. My god, every time I think this game can't wow me with how it presents Pokemon, it surprises me. So I don't think I talked about it last time, but I managed to unlock the beach level, and then the reef level, and then like the deep sea level. Which is easily so far my favorite stages of the game. I've since now today I've unlocked the volcano stage and the Elsewhere Forest. Still, nothing beats the beach. I think it's because I just love the water and I love water Pokemon. But oh my god, my favorite part is that I managed to unlock the alternate path for the reef stage, which is like basically shallow water. But after you get the Illuminorb, if you hit a Clawitzer, is it Clawitzer? Yeah, Clawitzer, which I didn't think to see that thing again. He'll crash up on a rock, and that'll lead you down. And at first, I thought, oh, okay, it's going to take me here, and then we're going to go back to the stage. Like, no, you go further down. You go to the ocean floor of this place. And, like, I was taking pictures. There's this lumen. You can see these lumen flowers throughout the stage. And you can light them up, and something's Pokemon react to them. So I saw it, and I'm like, okay, I lit it up, and all these, I can't remember what fish Pokemon were. I think it was Love Disc or something. They all hover around it, and all of a sudden, as I'm taking the pictures, fucking frillfish flies up. Like, oh shit! Got legit scared. But it's just dancing, which is also kind of odd because it's of course the ghost fish Pokemon scares the shit out of me. But then you're on the ocean floor and you see that bug Pokemon from Gen 7. I can't remember its name, but the one that has to retreat if you get it to its HP to half life. I can't remember its name.
Golioscopod, I think his name.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the
Golisopod.
big ass. Yeah, that big ass motherfucker. Yeah, it's so cool. It's legit. It's also legit creepy because like I started getting anxious because like you can't really see much in the deep depths of the ocean, but all the Pokemon are generally friendly. And then I unlocked the aluminum spot for the deep sea. That, oh my god, that's easily. It's like even though the first instance is it is just one Pokemon, I love it so much because of what it does. So your first Lumen spot is against Meganium. It's very cool. Like, okay, very like a bigger version of it. This one, it's Wishy-Washy, which I think that's such a cool idea for a Pokemon. At first, you'll see a whole bunch of Wishy-Washy, and they're scared little shits. And then you'll see I think if you either hit them with balls or it naturally happens, they'll go away. And it comes back all of a sudden, and it does the thing like and I tell this to Justin in our Discord. It simultaneously freaked me out and wowed me at the same time because all of a sudden you're looking forward, right? And like there's nothing here, and you can see the complete form Wishy-Washy where he looks like a giant whale come at you.
It's called the
like
school form?
The school form, exactly. Thank you. Yeah. You can see it come at you like vaguely, and it's like, oh shit, and it's just like just swimming around you like this big. Oh my god, it's so cool. And if you throw Lumina orbs at it, it like gets like this cool green markings. Man, like everything I'd want in this game is coming true. Like the animations are beautiful. Just again, I think it's just my fascination, people's fascination with zoos and like just seeing Pokemon in their somewhat what we would perceive to be their natural habitat. It's such a beautiful image. God damn, it's I know I looked it up. I know there's an ice level, so that got me really excited. So I'm gonna do everything I can to get that fucking ice level. I don't know how you
I guess
get
it is after the water. Okay.
So yeah, like I said, the last thing I did was unlock the Bloomin' spot, but I've gotten level 3 on some of my other spots. On some of the other ones, I've unlocked the research camp, which is a destination you can do, which I felt like, wow, why did I unlock that earlier? But it was still pretty cool nonetheless. Oh god, like every time I think, I got the Slacking, I think that's his name, the big giant gorilla that's sleeping in the second area. I got him to wake up. He does this cool like, and he goes back to sleep. This game is ridiculous.
It's little things.
It really is. And doing all that made me not care about how slow the progression is because it made me just want to go back. Because there's a point in the volcano stage where I think it's Fachinder. I can't remember which one it is. The bird Pokemon from Gen 6.
Yeah.
I just got flung through. I'm like, I missed it. So that means I got to go back and play it, but I don't mind that. There was a point in that when you go to the volcano stage, you can see a fucking Tyranitar chase after this poor Infernape. I'm like, no! Leave him alone, you monster!
So cool.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so intimidating in this one. Yeah, and the volcano stage, even when I got to level 2, it naturally goes down a different path. Like, not even a day-night cycle, which I thought was cool. Like, they put a lot of effort into this. Like, you can tell.
And I love the new area you go into. It's so cool looking.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
If you want to know more about the game, we do have a review video up on the website.
Yes, it is. Justin Justin did a extremely well done job with that. Besides that I actually want to talk about. Oh yeah, I'll wrap it up with this. I beat Rise of the Tomb Raider this past week, concluding the second game. I still need to beat the Croft Manor DLC, which kind of adds more mystery to. Like, you learn more about her father that way. I still really like the game. Like, I don't understand. Maybe this is my perception of people had of the game, but I feel like people hated on this game way too much when it came out, or just didn't talk about it enough. But number one, it's a beautiful looking game. Number two, it took what was already good in the first game and just literally did what a good sequel did and expanded upon it. I still love the story. Like it kind of blends that myth and reality to in one, like that the classic Tomb Raiders did. Um, I like the whole struggle with everything of like this secret uh force that's trying to capture the secret from immortality. It's really great. The whole final set piece where you're basically in this ancient city and you're fighting these thousands of year old dead like immortal guards and like Byzantine armor. You get to use a fucking trebuchet multiple times to open up like an ancient castle gate. Like it's just such a cool, like very very cool set pieces. So I'm really curious about Rise of the or Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Sorry, the naming convention should have really have been changed.
Rise
In
of
all
Planet of the
honesty,
Apes.
yeah. Um, I'm sorry, they should have. The naming convention should have really been changed. But I'm
Well,
really
there's a
curious about
reason
that
the
game.
third one's called Shadow.
I'd imagine, but when as somebody who has not played that game, when I look at it, I'm like, you should have been called Shadow because she's living her father's shadow, who was a Tomb Raider before her, and Rise should have been the third game because this is where she becomes like the real Tomb Raider. That's just me, but
Yes.
I'll probably figure out why it's called Shadow.
Look
when
at the
I play it.
logo.
I
Like,
haven't seen it. I have to look at. That's I just like. I understand why, but from when I just that's why I confuse it because it feels like it should be reversed. But either way, I'll report. I'll probably take a small break before I jump into Shadow, just because I'm too enamored with Pokemon Snap right now. Oh yeah, one minor mention. I streamed the Mass Effect Legendary Collection last night. I started Mass Effect 1, and it was a. I said this to Thomas, I said this to Justin, but I only streamed for 3 hours last night, which is an hour longer than what I normally do. And I easily could have streamed that game for like 6 hours. I'm not even joking with you. When I hit the stop button, I was like, "Fuck! I really want to I just wanted to keep playing the game." It's number one, video like graphic. I didn't really look into a lot of much what they were doing with the Legendary Collection, but I figured, okay, if EA fucks up this collection, I'm gonna hear about it on Twitter whether I want it or not, whether I want to or not. But number one, Mass Effect 1 obviously is the one I'm curious about because that was the one that had problematic. The first game is very hard to get into from a control standpoint and everything. God, number one, aiming feels so much better in this one. They fixed it. It still has the heating system of the first one, but it feels much more manageable because you actually can aim, so you're not wasting your heat button. And I tested this out immediately because if you've ever played the first one, you can equip all the weapons, or at least I can because I played the soldier class. It's because I'm a basic boring bitch. If you equip the sniper would always like kind of move around a lot and it would be impossible to aim. Versus in this one, it was steady as hell. I'm like, hell yes, this is what I want. And of course, like the good voice acting, the good world building, it was honestly like coming home again with this playing the first game again. That's what it felt like. And oh my god, I'm so looking forward to streaming this game on Twitch and to see the different to show like why I love this series so much. Obviously, I'm not the only one, and I'm seeing like people on Twitter talk about like how they're playing like this for the first time, and I'm really glad because of the changes to one, it's gonna be great. Oh, it's good to have it back. I don't like I said this on my stream yesterday, but I don't know if this means we're gonna get a new Mass Effect game or not. But I don't really care. I'm not really thinking about that right now.
they already announced a new one. There was a teaser trailer for it.
Yeah, you know how plans can change. I forgot about that. You know how EA is, but like I don't. But the point is, regardless of what happens in the future of Mass Effect, I have this collection, so that's good.
Are you gonna punch the reporter?
Tune into my fucking stream and find out is my answer.
Okay.
And that's not till the second game, I think. So you gotta. That's
No,
a
you
long
can do
way
it in the
to
first
find.
one too, from what I've seen.
I don't remember doing that in the first one, but I guess I'll take your word for it. All right, that's gonna do it for this part of the show. We're gonna take a quick ad break, and when we come back, we'll be discussing the news. See y'all in a bit, dudes. All right.
Okay. I actually checked the time. So I'll know when it's up.
Justin, because I know you may want to have a joke. Do you have any jokes about the Palestinian conflict that I need to stop right now?
Wow.
I'm like I just know who you are, and I just rather
No, it's fair.
ask
I do make
now.
jokes about everything, but no, I do not.
Okay,
Honestly, I
I'd rather.
haven't like this probably isn't a great thing to admit, but I haven't even kept up on it. Um,
Okay. Oh,
I mean, I know what's going on, but I'm not like like checking in on progress and all that. Like,
right. I just wanted to make sure because I'd rather keep that moment serious. So that's all.
yeah, no, I know. I
Okay.
can I can read the room usually.
Yeah, that's what I have to check.
But can you watch the room?
No,
No, you can't because no.
we're back by the way.
All right, so I'm gonna count us in for the audio version. Three, two. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the newest segment of the Charge Shot Gamescast. All right, we got a healthy bit of news this time around. Starting with my favorite monster is in a game that I don't want to play. Godzilla is in the mobile version of PUBG.
This made me so happy just because I knew you would have to talk about it.
Godzilla, Kong, and Mechagodzilla, which I guess that's not a spoiler, and that game's movie's been out for a month now, arrive in PUBG's mobile version update, or version 1.4, which also brings the microcosm gameplay, a new vehicle, hangar, which is a new area of the map, beginning on June 1st, and more. There's even a trailer. If you check the link on the site, it's a cinematic trailer. Don't really see much other than you kind of get it looks like the new area. You do get to see Kong, which it's a lot of shadows because not going to show him off his full glory. And you just see Godzilla, which is it's the movie Monster vs Godzilla. Pretty cool. So yeah, this why Toho seriously this fucking game.
You gonna play PUBG Mobile?
No, no,
Nobody wants to
no.
play with your pube.
I mean,
Fortnite is
I thought
right
about it.
there. Fortnite is right there. You know how cool it would have been? Like, we had the Galactus event where everybody teamed to fight Galactus. We could have done that with Godzilla. Everybody teams up to take down Godzilla. No, we gotta sign some deal with public unknown battle shit. We gotta put that game. Are you kidding me? This literally. Oh, it hurts for me to read this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just like I hate it.
They couldn't get that Fortnite money, so they had to go to the next. Which,
It's
granted, PUBG Mobile is still a very big deal. Like, this isn't like the knockoff or anything, but it is a bit of a slap in the face when, like you said, Fortnite's right there.
Fortnite right there. You have all these pop culture icons right there. Godzilla and Kong belong in that game. Hell, who knows? They could easily show up in the game later on.
Probably.
Oh my god. Damn it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Not even a gameplay trailer. Just a cinematic trailer.
I do kind of want to see what this is, though. Like, is it just those two fighting in the background of the map while you do your thing? Because that would be lame.
It's PUBG, so it's gonna be lame.
It's improved. I mean, you get... It's no Fortnite, but it's gotten better.
Okay, I'll have to take your word for that, Buckaroo.
Like, when I was looking up mobile games, it was, like, up there, like, in the top 5 most played, most downloaded. Like,
because Gen Z has nothing better to do. That's all that is.
well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, PUBG and Fortnite are neck and neck. Like, you might not like it, but it's still a big deal.
Crazy that it somehow still is. You figured that Fortnite would have just crushed their company, crushed it by now, but I guess I guess not.
Yeah.
You think the free to play company with all these exclusive, not exclusive characters, but like the fact that they keep sending so many like new skins and like celebrity skins stuff like that would be over, but not. Tyler, anything else you want to add to the Godzilla being in this game?
Really kept up with PUBG or any of these battle royale type of games, but it is cool that we're seeing Godzilla and Kong in a video game. Like, as you've been saying before, Toho needs to make a giant kaiju fighting game. I definitely still would love to see that.
I forgot to mention, have you seen that there's a new Godzilla game coming to mobile?
There's
It
really?
looks ass.
all
No.
the Godzilla mobile games that have been on there have been ass, so I'm not
It's like
surprised.
cutesy.
Yeah,
It's like a chibi art style. Yeah, it's bad.
They should do what they be doing with the Fist of North Star mobile game and make it look like the source material, you know?
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, speaking of celebrities making cameos in other games, we officially have a trailer for Chun-Li in Power Rangers Battle for the Grid.
Yes.
Yeah, we already talked about Ryu being it, and now we get to see Chun-Li. And Chun-Li has always had a history of being crazy in these versus games, and this trailer is no exception. If you're watching the trailer, you're gonna see the dirtiest moment ever at about 16 seconds in, where Chun-Li tags in Ryu. Ryu does a Hadoken. Chun-Li then does like a move that goes behind Lord Zed, and basically, welcome to Mix Up City, ladies and gentlemen. Pure nastiness, speed over, like doing standing heavy kick into spinning bird kick resets. Chun-Li's gonna be nuts. There's one moment where she does a fireball, lands on it, and it continues the combo. God, I already know my team. When I pick this game back up, it's gonna be the purple tiger ranger, who's basically Sagat because he has low fireball and high fireball. Ryu and Chun-Li. I'm gonna be Team Street Fighter, or Team Street Fighter in that's Marvel vs. Capcom style in this game. Oh my god.
Yeah, man,
Nuts.
Chun-Li looks really fucking nuts in this game. They really went all in with all the shit she can do here.
They went all in on her thighs, too.
I mean,
Well,
they have to. It's part of her design.
Right.
Yeah. Also, I do like her class of '93 costume where she looks like a teenager from 1993.
So good.
So that looks, yeah, but I still think her blue. I think it's blue Phoenix Ranger. It's original design as a Power Rangers costume. God, I'm just getting straight again. It's so fucking. Oh my god, my girl is in this game. My girl might not be in Smash, but she's gonna be duking it out with some Power Rangers. So that's gonna be cool. Also, shout outs to whoever said yes, we're gonna bring back the Yata dance from Street Fighter 2, 3, and 4 back in this game. She does not have that in Street Fighter 5. And dope remix of her theme. Dope remix of bringing her theme and the Power Rangers theme, weaving it together, similar to them for you. Justin, are you going to be my punching dummy when Chun-Li and Ryu come out?
I mean, not when you say it like that.
I mean, I'd rather be honest.
I would love to fight against you in this game again, my dude.
Okay, we can take turns beating Justin. Awesome.
Maybe we can do another fight night. That was pretty fun.
That was. Yes, it was. All right, we should schedule that. All right. But do you have anything to say on it in any more, Justin? Are you going to pick a Battle for the Grid?
No, she looks
Chun-Li
great.
and Ryu?
I mean, I'm not gonna it's on Game Pass, so I'll play it, but I'm not gonna buy any characters or anything for it.
Darn shame,
All right.
because Lauren Sheba is one of my favorites.
The Red Samurai Ranger.
Yeah.
All right. So, as one character is added to a franchise, Sony wants to add a whole bunch of franchises to its console that you cannot currently buy. I thought that was a pretty good segue. PlayStation 5 is working on 25 PS5 games. Half are new franchises. I feel like this article comes out at the beginning of every console generation. PlayStation Studio head Herman Holtz says there are more than 25 PlayStation 5 games in development, half of which are new IP. As reported by Wired, Holtz said PlayStation Studios, which is comprised of studios like Guerrilla Games, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, of course, repeating the same information. This doesn't mean that there are 25 first-party games in the work of PlayStation Studios. Games like Sackboy Big Adventure and Returnal were both published under PlayStation Studios banner, but were developed by studios not owned by Sony, Sumo Digital, and Housemarque in this instance, respectively. This is exciting nonetheless for anyone wondering what Sony's up to beyond Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart, which sets to release next month, as talked about by Justin. Some of the titles have been revealed, such as Guerrilla Horizons Forbidden West, supposedly coming out this year. Even Santa Monica's God of War Ragnarok, which has just been discussed at all. Beyond those three titles, the rest of PlayStation Studios is up to. Insomniac is literally working on a full-price Spider-Man sequel. Naughty Dog is already chipping away at the remake of The Last of Us, rumored, and multiplayer games set in the world of The Last of Us. All right, 25. 25.
So I mean, presumably we will get. I mean, I doubt there's 25 games coming this year or anything, but presumably
No.
we'll get 25 first-party games over the course of the PS5 life cycle. Like you said, with a lot of times this comes out at the beginning of every console generation, but it gives us an idea of how many games we're going to get during that console's life. So obviously there's going to be third-party titles and whatnot, but I would see this as 25 games in development as first-party titles for PlayStation. Not necessarily from
PlayStation
their studios, but things that are going to be exclusive to PS5.
I would say that's fair. And I would say, obviously every new console generation, we're definitely going to have new franchises. Returnal, obviously, is the big new one for PlayStation that's firing on all cylinders, with the exception of some minor problems. Here's the problem, though. Will you actually be able to buy PS5 before any of these games come out? That is the true question.
Two out of three of us already have one, so that's pretty good odds.
Play
In
with no
comparison to
limits,
us, yes.
unless the consoles are limited.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a report
I mean-
saying that shortages will probably continue into next year. So, I mean, take that for what you will.
Well, maybe if you crypto clowns wouldn't stop fucking doing that shit, we would have these consoles. Hey, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take your dog money and leave.
No, seriously, stop. You're hurting the environment. Stop it. Anyways. So yeah, I obviously won't be getting a PS5 for a long time. Probably at the end of its life cycle when we head into the PlayStation 6.
Like me and the Xbox One.
And the Xbox, exactly.
Same.
So but hey, I think it's great if you're a PlayStation 5 owner that they obviously right out of the gate want to commit to something. I think that's really, really cool. Okay, let's play this game real quick. What's a franchise that's an existing PlayStation franchise that you may not be exclusive to Sony, but you associate with Sony that you want to see on the PS5?
Jak and Daxter.
That's pretty good. Especially
is
with
a good
Ratchet and
one.
Clank getting a resurgence, I could see that happening.
That and have an actual crossover between the two. Like, don't have that weird move nonsense for the PlayStation 3.
I mean, it's a controversial opinion, but I think a PlayStation All-Stars sequel could be really cool. Like, speaking of crossovers, because clearly it was mishandled.
Yeah.
And that studio is gone now. If you've seen Matt McMuscle's What Happened on that game. But there was some strong ideas there, and they have a better library of characters than ever. So I think that's something they could try again.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if that's a serious answer, but obviously I want more Spider-Man.
Well, that's guaranteed. That's like that you're gonna get it. It's just you gotta wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Tomba for the PlayStation 1. Bring him back to the PS5. Yes.
I haven't heard that.
We need more 2D platforming games, and why not?
They'd probably turn it 3D though.
Well, 2.5D, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's a reach.
Okay, fine. Spyro. Does that count? I mean, it went to Nintendo.
Not. I mean, it counts, but I would say well, yeah, no, I would allow it because unlike Crash, who got a new game, Spyro has not got a new game. He probably won't get a new game because of what's happened recently.
Right. There was the trilogy, but then nothing else after. Like the trilogy didn't spark a new game.
Yeah, I was. Well, it's because the first one's not a good game.
It's true.
And I will say, yeah, Spyro counts. It'd be good to see that purple bitch again.
I'd like to see a new Spyro game, honestly.
Do an like you were loading with Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank. Fucking do an actual Spyro, a good, because I know the GBA games exist, but do a good version of Spyro and Crash teaming together.
Oh,
just don't have a mishmash of mini games like those games are.
And don't make them side scroller. That was weird.
Yeah. Well, it was on the GBA. What are you gonna do?
I mean, the top-down isometric Spyro games were great.
Okay.
So just
Take
do
your word
that.
for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. Spyro, Tomba, and Jack and Daxter. There you go. No Sly Cooper. No Sly Cooper love here. That's
I never played him.
I played Sly Cooper either.
Yeah. When's that movie coming out?
Plus, I mean,
When's
we're
that
getting
movie
like
coming
my pick
Oh
would
my
have been Ratchet
god,
and
I
Clank.
forgot the
but-
movie was a thing.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
There's a Sly. They teased the Sly Cooper movie like 5 years ago. There's a teaser trailer and everything.
Oh.
Nothing happened from it since.
I mean, I imagine once the Ratchet and Clank movie failed, they probably scrapped it.
Yeah, that
Probably.
sounds right.
Okay, so going from one company
Dream.
that holds dormant IPs to another company that has dormant IPs, Sega is considering revitalizing some of their classic IPs.
Ooh.
Tyler, do me a favor. Dub Justin over with the actual 16-bit Sega, because that would be pretty cool to hear
Wow.
it coming out of his mouth.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
It'd be cool. Why? It's like if you're gonna
I
do
nailed
it,
that, sir.
Yeah, he did.
No,
actually.
number one, nobody nails it because you can't replicate that because it's chiptune. I wouldn't even nailed it. Okay,
Whatever.
so
Sega, I'm
Either
available
way.
if you want to redo it.
you can do the Intense 2000 scream. Sega! You can do that one. There you go.
Ugh, no.
Sega! All right. A financial result presentation that has revealed that Sega is considering reboots of Crazy Taxi,
Yeah.
which would be called Uber now, Jet Set Radio,
Yeah.
and other dormant IP, while it begins working on a super game. And marked the end of the fiscal year, published by Sega Sammy Investor Relations website today. The slideshow includes a number of interesting details about the company's future plans. One slide concerns the utilization of IP assets, noting which IPs are active and dormant, and how Sega plans to remaster, remake, or reboot its older series to capitalize on the globally recognized IP it has in its vaults. A number of old fan favorites franchises are mentioned in the IP grouping, including Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Night, Space Channel 5, Choo, Panzer Dragoon,
Pants Dragon.
and Rez. And the very least, this suggests that the company is interested in bringing some of those games back to market, while strengthening its active IPs such as Yakuza, Persona, and Sonic.
I forget
this presentation
Persona's Sega. That's so weird.
Yes, because they bought Atlas, but it's
Right.
whatever. The presentation also mentions Sega's 5-year plan to what it calls a super game. While unclear exactly what that term implies, Sega says it's mainly making focused investment in the project, aims to have it released by its 2026 financial year.
Damn.
As well, it's a super game, so I imagine it's going to be the dream crossover game we always wanted.
It's a Sega
As
Smash
well as
Bros.
putting it, they already made that for the Sega Saturn. It's called Fight Years Mega Mix. As well as turning its existing active IPs into global brands, the company wants to create new IPs which can be expanded globally, but which it doesn't expect to be immediately highly profitable. No details were given on which of Sega Studios would make the game, nor what kind of game it would be. All right, so somebody at Sega was like, "Hey, these things are just sitting here. We should do something." And obviously, we've seen Sega have success with other developers work on IP. Obviously, Christian Whitehead's team revitalizing Sonic with Sonic Mania, yet stupidly not greenlighting a Sonic Mania 2 for some reason. Whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, the rise of the Yakuza series is just like a thing nobody saw coming. And of course, the remake of Panzer Dragoon and the upcoming Panzer Dragoon's Way, and of course, the success of Streets of Rage 4. And of course, the Wonder Boy series has been getting a lot of love from different developers, so they're aware. But it looks like they're finally starting to see that, hey, people want our games, and maybe we should do something about that. That's all I've been people been asking. No Scars of Arcadia though, and there's another RPG series that Sega is known for. It was made by the Golden Sun team before they did Golden Sun.
Is it Shining Force?
Yeah, Shining Force. So if you love Shining Force, none of that. There's no mention of that there, and there's no mention of the other one. Please make another Knights game, because after Balan died, I need something. Just give me Knights, damn it.
I want Jet Set Radio. I'm already excited for that, that
sequel.
That spiritual successor thing that's
Yeah.
coming out. So yeah, give me more Jet Set Radio.
Wasn't there a leak for a new Virtua Fighter being worked on?
Yes, that was not mentioned here oddly enough, but they've talked about Virtual Credit Cross Esports. Basically, they would be porting the Final Showdown edition, which came out in 2009, to PS4.
Oh,
No
cool.
word on other no it just or rather it showed up on like I can't remember what exactly what it was, but so that may already be a thing that's happening. So who knows? And that could lead to a new proper, like an actual Virtua Fighter 6 versus a re-release of Virtua Fighter 5. But Virtua Fighter 5 still looks fine. So it looks like Sega is again kind of waking up a little bit.
We were rewatching Josie and the Pussycats over the weekend, which holds up, by the way. And it had a lot of like, that whole movie is like hyper stylized, like corporate America. And so like clearly one of the sponsors was Sega, and there were like Space Channel 5 standees and ads and stuff all over the place.
Nice.
And
Really?
like that's the first time I remember that game existing. Like it was not good.
It was of its time. It was fun with the game.
Space Channel 5 is rad.
Yeah. Michael Jackson's in the first one, isn't he?
He's in the second one. He was supposed to be in the first one, but I think due to time constraints, he wasn't able to make the first one. But he was
Yeah.
able to do the second one because he really loved the idea of like a dancing game like that, and he was already pretty close to Sega at the time, working on the Sonic 3 soundtrack before that fell through.
Yeah.
I mean, it would probably be better with motion controls, but like as a Dreamcast game, it didn't really work.
It's similar to a lot of Sega's ideas. It was ahead of its time.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's hope it comes. Like as you guys know, I'm a huge Sega fan. Love like even though when I started the show, I was like mostly known as like the Nintendo person, but like Sega was always right, probably just above them in terms of their core gameplay experiences. And of course they got Fantasy Star Online, which is still like at least outside of America because we never had it till recently. Probably it probably doesn't come close to FF14, but that's like the second biggest thing you're gonna find in like MMOs in terms of like mainstream appeal.
Yeah.
So Sega definitely has something. But let's see what comes next. But this is where now we get to the point where video gamers are gonna be mad about an important shit and should be mad at other important shit. So it's been revealed, to no surprise, that the upcoming Bethesda game Starfield, the game that we've been hearing about for what, 8 years? Maybe longer?
I think it's
10 years? Okay, I feel like it's been a while. That Starfield has been officially confirmed to be both PC exclusive, of course, and Xbox console exclusive. Which means if you bought a PS5 thinking, hey, I'm going to be able to play Starfield on this PS5. Why? I'm touching my comic books since I don't have PS5. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. You better pony up money for an Xbox. So yeah, that's according to GameBeats journalist Jeff Grubb, who wrote on Friday. Starfield is exclusive to Xbox and PC. Period. This is me confirming that. Speaking in live stream video, the prominent games industry reporter went on to state that he believed the title would appear at E3 next month and likely release in 2022. Of course, Starfield is the next big RPG from Bethesda.
Originally announced in June 2018.
God, I feel so much longer than that. COVID really fucked up the timeline.
Yeah.
Nothing has been set since and at 2019 E3 show, the game's director asked fans to be very patient in regards to the unveiling of Starfield. The release plans for Bethesda software, of course, this goes into more of like the ZeniMax acquirization and everything like that. So yeah, we knew it was bound to happen. That Xbox, Microsoft, or Bethesda IPs would become Xbox console exclusives, and gamers are mad. Why are you mad? You knew this was going to happen, so I'm going to tell you, you PlayStation whiners, what you told Xbox fans for years. Buy the fucking system. Or buy a PC.
Well, they said that they already announced they would assess titles on a game-by-game basis, whether they'll be exclusive or not. So, like, this isn't new news. It's just confirmation of what everyone was afraid of. Which is stupid.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is, how many bugs are we gonna find on launch day? Because you know that's gonna be inevitable.
Yeah, Bethesda, that's no avoiding that.
But it'll be
Okay.
bugs in space.
Yes. Who
That's
knows?
new.
Hopefully, I will say, hopefully something does get shown next year or next month. God, I can't believe fucking E3 is less than 3 weeks away. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I gotta do fucking prep. Oh my god. Um.
Yeah, we got to do all our E3 coverage. That's going to be a lot.
Oh god.
Oh, no.
Thomas, come back, please.
Yeah, your first year doing that.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm just
Okay,
going to
so
slide
yeah.
in and have fun.
Yeah. All right. So as I contemplate running this website and just letting it burn now because I don't want to do anything with E3 and okay, anyways, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's take it down a bit because the next topic we're going to be ending the show on, or not ending the show on, but ending the new segment on is a little bit more serious. And I need to set the context. I understand people come to this show or listen to the video games podcast to escape the real world around us because Lord knows this, we all do. Sometimes you cannot escape the real world, and sometimes you have to confront the real world and accept what's going on right now. So, recently, over the past week, 2 weeks, there conflict has been rising between both the Palestine and Israeli and the IDF or the Israeli Defense Force or the Israeli government. And basically, Israel, and this is me saying it, Israel has been committing attacks, atrocities against the Palestinian people and the people of Palestine. They have shot IDF missiles at their homes. They have killed children. They're basically committing war crimes, and unfortunately, the United States government and governments all over the world are siding with Israel because the world is wrapped up in this weird love of, hey, it's Israel, so we got to support Israel because it's the birthplace of Jesus Christ. Yeah, so and you can say some people it's a complicated issue. I see it as like you could say, oh, Palestine's doing this. I see Israel murdering people with their advanced weaponry versus Palestine defending its people as they were. It's a very heavy issue. I encourage everybody to read into this topic because the world is watching. In Israel, what Israel's doing is an atrocity. I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to talk about it, especially considering this past week, Israel bombed or destroyed Al Jazeera building, which is a news outlet in Palestine. Destroyed, is gone. So this, of course, has a lot of people taking up on Twitter with the hashtag Free Palestine. IGN America actually posted a tweet about basically we support Palestine. And here this goes into more detail. Following the most recent set of violent military strikes by the Israel Defense Force that have leveled entire buildings in Gaza, left over 180 Palestinians dead. IGN posted an article linked to a variety of Palestinian charities and even gave a Palestinian flag prominence in its masthead. Sometime earlier today, all of that content, along with the tweet promoting that post, was removed with no indication as to why or if it will be republished at a later date. Shortly after IGN, the post went live yesterday. IGN Israel, which I had no idea there was an IGN Israel, shared a statement on social media accounts owned by IGN Israel, stating that it condemned the U.S.'s IGN article and tweeted supporting Palestinian charities. At this time, it's unknown if IGN's parent company, Ziff Davis, demands this content be removed or the content was removed for another reason. As of this writing, the post and tweet remain deleted. Another outlet that showed support for Palestine is People was Game Informer. However, its article promoting charities was also removed today, as with IGN. There's been no public indications to why this post was removed or if it will return. There's a couple of other things as well. In that IGN posted this image, this tweet. Across IGN, our hearts are heavy as we follow the events, and this is sort of after the tweet was taken down. Across IGN, our hearts are heavy as we follow the events in Israel, Palestine, and across the region. Our first thought is always for the broader IGN community, our employees, readers, and partners, and our hopes for their safety and well-being. We have a track record of supporting humanitarian efforts and charities across the globe. In the instance of our recent post regarding how to help civilians in Israel-Palestinian conflict, our philanthropic instincts to help those in need was not in line with our intent to try to show support for all people impacted by tragic events by highlighting one population. The post mistakenly left the impression that we were politically aligned with one side. That was not our intention, and we sincerely regret the error. We do intend to continue to use our platforms and resources to aid those civilian lives impacted across the entire area. As part of this effort, we have made a donation of $25,000 to Save Children, an organization that works with support children everywhere and provides energy and emergency aid in natural disasters, war, and other conflicts. Thank you for your support. And so that kind of basically your corporate, that's definitely coming up from there. The corporate overlords, basically, we need to play nice because Israel's pissed. And then earlier today, this is coming from the employees of IGN, and if you follow IGN Twitter accounts, people who work with IGN, they were retweeting this earlier, so I'm going to read the letter here. It's a pretty long letter, so I'm going to try to read through this as fast as I can. This is an open letter to IGN, Ziff Davis, and J2 Global. Ziff Davis, J2 Global, I believe, is the parent company that owns IGN. We, the undersigned employees of IGN, are appalled by the recent management decision to subvert our editorial autonomy and remove our posts directing aid to the Palestinian civilians currently suffering a humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the West Bank, and Jerusalem. In our original post, we have offered our readers way to support charities that help injured sick children, supply educational resources and food assistance to victims, provide emergency medical relief for those wounded or displaced by the conflict. We feel these efforts should not be controversial. All humans deserve access to these basic rights, and it is important for those with the means to offer aid in humanitarian crisis. Our original post was shared by thousands of people, and because of IGN's size and reach, we were able to serve as a leader for much of the rest of the industry to also help support those whose lives are torn apart by this conflict. We are proud to be part of the team at a site that is able to be willing to offer this level of visibility to such critical humanitarian support efforts. This decision to take down a post was made a day and a half after it was published. The takedown took place in the early hours of the morning on a weekend with no communication to essential authors, the general IGN staff, or to the public as to why it happened. IGN's editorial team has guidelines about updating content deemed needful changes, and something that we've done multiple times in the past. But wholesale removal of pieces without posting an explanatory statement is expressly against our usual policy. Finally, more than 12 hours after the issue was first flagged to the broader team in our international Slack, our staff received a late-night email from IGN leadership, well after reasonable working hours for IGN Global Team, and with the same statement, this was to be published publicly on the IGN Twitter account on a later. There was no indication in the initial email. It also served as our official statement on the matter. While we are glad to see a sizable donation being made to save the children, we feel the decision to remove the original article and social post, as well as subsequent statement from management, is not only actively harmful to IGN's public reputation and its employees, but also highly disrespectful to much of its content team and broader staff. The statement inaccurately describes the retraction to those across IGN rather than to the members of our upper management team who made the decision to giving them a public impression that the decision was made by the editorial staff despite this being a choice we did not make collectively, and which many of us do not agree with. Following an IGN-wide meeting this morning, we have come to understand that this was a clear instance of corporate overreach and demonstrated blatant disregard for the most basic standards of journalistic integrity and editorial independence. The business interests of a public's ownerships and its editorial staff should stay separate at all times. Importantly, we feel the latest statement dangerously turns what was matters of supporting innocent civilians facing a humanitarian crisis in a harmful case of both sidesism. I'm doing quotes because that's what it says in the article. Helping children and civilians harmed by the horrors of war should be uncontroversial no matter what two sides are, and is keeping with IGN's ongoing efforts to help highlight causes that are important to our team, such as support for Black Lives Matter last year and our more recent celebration of AAPI Heritage Month and joining the call to end AAPI hate. The victims here deserve the same support. We recognize the concerns expressed by upper management, but are nonetheless gravely disappointed by the lack of respect shown to our content team and broader staff in this matter, and expect our leaders to take responsibility for their decisions. We, the undersigned, are calling from an all-hands meeting that includes IGN upper management, anyone at J2 Global, or Ziv Davis who had a hand in this decision. By the end of the week, we would like full transparency about the reasoning and process behind the post removal. We ask that the management's body responsible for the decision accept the responsibility publicly. We ask that management recognize IGN's editorial authority and autonomy with regards to what it's published, regardless of whether it's work is news, reviews, features, guides, video content, or promotion or initiatives our staff feels are important, such as issue awareness or charitable support. While we want to be able to make all voices on our team, IGN management included, feel be able to weigh in on what we say as a site and how we say it, we are adamant that corporate leadership does not get the final word in editorial decisions. Finally, we ask that management work with our staff to republish the piece. We are open to doing this process to incorporate management feedback and concerns about how its content is perceived, but we firmly believe that we must be allowed to advocate for humanitarian causes freely across all our channels. We are a team of creators who love what we do, take pride in our work, which has previously enjoyed the support and freedom of unnecessary interference our parents and companies. We would like that relationship to continue to be a positive one. It is our hope that management recognizes its errors this past weekend and is willing to work with us to ensure that IGN can continue to stand on it as a trusted publication, unconstrained by interference with corporate interests, and be able to freely inform its audience about opportunities to support important and meaningful causes around the world. And it's signed by several members of IGN staff. So, again, it is a very I'm gonna say it again. There is no both sides are bad. The people of Gaza, the people of Palestine, are are being attacked by a apartheid regime that is the Israeli government, and the fact that our own government and governments around the world continue to support Israel in these atrocities is horrifying. And the fact that even this post that was taken down by IGN upper management to just simply donate money to help the people of Palestine get basic resources is fucking awful and just shows what kind of people who are in charge really are. I apologize if this makes anybody uncomfortable. It was my decision to put this on the show, but I felt that it was important to bring it up. Because at some points, you can't just plug in a video game and just ignore everything. You have to acknowledge what's going on. And sometimes that's meaning that the place you thought what is not what it was, Israel being a holy state for all places to worship peacefully. It's not. There's a video of a mosque burning, and you can see the Israeli people cheering as it burns. So, I don't know if you guys have anything to say about it. I understand that Justin has not been following it as much as I have, and Tyler, I'm not sure about you. But I just felt that it was important that within the consensus of what's going on, that this needed to be more. This needed to be spread more.
Yeah, this is just one of those things that you can't really ignore. Like, this is a really huge deal. I'm not really that knowledgeable. I haven't really been keeping up with it myself, but I do understand the gravity of the situation. And, you know, it's just something that it's heavy, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to add that you didn't already say. I'm not knowledgeable on this topic, and I think it's okay to say that you don't know enough to have an opinion on something. But I do know a thing or two about censorship. And, I mean, in my... without, getting too personal or anything, in my workplace, this has been an issue before of, like, you share something and people see it and then you remove it, and the backlash of it being removed is a much bigger deal than what was originally shared. And it's not good. Like, especially in this case, when you're trying to raise awareness, You're trying to raise awareness. You're trying to raise money for an important cause, and someone, unbeknownst to anyone else, just decides that they don't want to be political. I don't know what the reasoning would be. This is human life.
Everybody wants to kowtow to Israel
Yeah,
because of our political ally. They're like similar to how people don't want to, like the whole China, like similar things with China. It's because of our political understanding with China, with Israel, and that of course leads to business ties with Israel. So
right.
it's probably, I would assume it's probably somebody with that connection that's like, hey, take that shit down.
Probably. But this is still human life, human rights we're talking about. Like, human issues are not political. We are all one species. We should come together. And to go behind everyone's back and make the people look bad that, did not intend for that to happen, like, is just sleazy. And like, I feel bad for all the people at IGN. I mean, they've been through, obviously that whole company has been through a lot. That IGN is, people have their opinions. I'll say that. But like, this is clearly just its parent company badness. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's another mass exodus after all of this, and it would be very justified. Because they should be able to speak their piece.
Right.
I mean, it's important, and censorship is bad. That's all I really have to say.
Yeah, and I'm not even like, there's other things we could bring up, but if and I'll be checking the comments on us Justin the moderator, but if I see anything in the comments defending Israel or saying how and I don't expect it, but you never know with YouTube, but people just searching for shit. If I see that shit, that's an automatic ban, because there's just no zero. That is a zero tolerance policy for it. There is no both sides. So that's that. It need to be said. It's done. It will. If it's not gonna be the last of it. Unfortunately, we probably won't be bringing it up on the show again. Just because I don't want to bring the mood down every week. Just felt like it was important to do it this time, especially considering how it tied in with IGN specifically. But let's go ahead and move on to our final topic. Let's go ahead and bring it back up. And unfortunately, when it came to our voting process this time, we got a tie. And that was my fault because I voted late and I figured, hey, somebody's going to break it. So,
we had a tie because Ty won.
Exactly. Fucking, I can't escape the puns. Okay. So, it came to, basically, I made the decision. Okay, well, since last week was technically Justin's topic, and Tyler also has never won this poll before, by default rules of what Thomas and I go when we do our voting for what wrestling show we're gonna watch, I let Ty have this one, and because I thought his was the most fun and could be the most interesting, and that is Final Video Game Bosses versus Thanos. Tyler did not specify with or without the Infinity Gems, but I figured we could get into that here. So,
that was my question.
Tyler, yeah. So Tyler, number one, is it with or without the Infinity Stones?
I'd assume with, because that would be with his full power and everything. And
Okay.
I would figure that there are enough final bosses that could probably feasibly take him on at his full strength.
All right. So since it was your topic, I'm curious. What's the final boss that you can take on Thanos with the Infinity Stones?
This one's probably an easy guess, and I'm pretty sure one of you guys might have come up with this as well. Probably Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Given account for all the forms and shit. Not accounting for all the Genova stuff without getting into spoilers. If you're not familiar with Seven, basically Sephiroth is pretty much the OG soldier. He's the biggest badass in that entire universe. So much so that Cloud pretty much idolized him. He's the whole reason that he wanted to join Soldier in the first place. And the first time we see him in a flashback, he one-shots a dragon. And throughout the story, we see all the other crazy shit that he's done. Like, he impales the Zolos, which gave the party a whole bunch of shit. And in the final boss, in his one-winged angel form, he can pretty much just summon a meteor that summons math equations and pretty much tears the solar system asunder. So,
Which Thanos does too, to be fair.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, if he were to go up against Thanos, it would probably be a really close match, but I would say that Sephiroth might edge it with his mastery.
Sephiroth's gonna edge Thanos.
Yeah. Yeah. That was completely unintentional, but I'll
That's
take it.
probably a Pornhub video somewhere.
Yeah, it might be. But yeah, he'll definitely take it because of his experience of Mako and, his one-winged form, being able to summon Meteor using the black materia. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the matter.
Dustin, what furry mascot is taking on Thanos?
See, this is a tough one because like I said, I wasn't sure if it was going to be Infinity Gauntlet or no, because I mean, I don't really know, comics Thanos that well, so I'm just basically going off of like end of Infinity War, when he's at full power, and I mean, not much can really stop him because he can stop and rewind time at will. He can just like snap his finger and destroy everyone. Like,
but that also hurts his arm.
True. So it's got to be someone that can manipulate the everything around them in the same way.
So Dio.
But then you're specifically talking about final bosses. And admittedly, there's not as many games I've beaten to know the final boss. Because I could think of, like, protagonists. Like, I think maybe Bayonetta would stand a chance, for example. But... And you stole Sephiroth, which is a really good one.
It kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, part of me wants to stick with the Final Fantasy realm. And go with I was debating between Ultimecia or Kuja, because both get pretty ridiculous by the end.
I'd say Kuja would have the better chance, honestly.
Well, Ultimecia like literally warps time also. Like her whole
right.
final realm exists like outside of time and space. Like the time compression or whatever. And she has similar forms where it's just like floating around in space and like throws planets at you and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, Kuja is basically all powerful.
Okay.
So really either. But I think I'm going to go with Ultimecia just because I want Thanos to get whooped by a girl.
Well, I mean, that could have been the case at the end of Infinity War if Scarlet Witch had her chance.
Yeah.
Hey, Captain Marvel was doing a pretty good knocking until he got the Power Stone on his hands.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, but again, none of them could take him on full power. That's the difference.
Sure. Okay. Akuma.
Oh, yeah.
Is that final boss?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, in Street Fighter 2, he can be the final boss if you get the correct stipulations.
Huh.
Like, he whoops Bison's ass and then you fight him instead.
Like, if I think of like pure, because like Akuma, I'm using comics canon a little bit. Like Akuma is dumb powerful. Like in the game, he's obviously known as super busted, but like in like kind of like elsewhere stuff, like a comic like adjacent stuff that still ties close Street Fighter, Akuma's like second strongest person on that planet. Like he can literally break a mountain in half with his fist. He's dumb powerful.
Yeah.
Only person who's technically stronger than him if he actually embraced the Satsuki no Hado, it would be Ryu. But Ryu's like, nah, fuck that. I don't want to sell myself for that shit. And Akuma is literally just evil incarnate. He has no humanity left in his soul. So if there's anybody who I could think could take down Thanos, Infinity Gauntlet or not, it's the man who will scream "Die 1,000 deaths" as he does the
Raging Demon.
the Raging Demon to Thanos. Because I guarantee you, the Raging Demon does not care about any of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, man. If he can fight toe to toe with Devils and Tekken, then I'm pretty sure he can hold his own against Thanos at full power.
Well, I hadn't really thought about fighting games, ironically, even though this is a versus. Final Fantasy... Sorry, not Final Fantasy. Mortal Kombat 11.
Of Chronica?
Yeah. She might stand a
that would be
chance.
pretty. That would actually be pretty good. I was gonna say Shao Kahn, but that would be like without the gauntlet, because
Right.
I don't think Shao Kahn would stand a chance against Thanos with the
He'd probably
gauntlet.
get bodied.
Right. But Chronica might stand a chance.
Shinnok might stand a chance with the gauntlet too.
Yeah.
He's an elder god.
That's
Yeah,
true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
who canonically has taken down Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet?
Nobody. Not that I can think of. They usually have to trick Thanos to lose the gauntlet to beat him
Right.
that way.
That's the thing. Because at first I was trying to think of people that could, like, clearly just, cut his arm off or something. And I'm like, that's lame.
Thanos has to literally like be overconfident, or like usually in the comics it's like he subconsciously wants to lose, and like he lets his guard down just enough to give the heroes a chance. But yeah, usually it's like by luck the heroes beat him if he has the gems. If he doesn't have the gems, it's pretty like, yeah, he's a brawler, but it's like comparing a hill to a mountain at that point. Which is why Akuma would beat him, because he said, "Fuck your gems." Raging Demon.
I crushed mountains.
So we have Sephiroth. What was yours again? The Final Fantasy. Kuja.
I mean, Ultimecia, I think is my final
Ultimecia.
pick, but I'm okay with it if you want to do Chronica.
Chronica. Okay.
Just to get away from Final Fantasy.
And then we have Akuma. I could even go. God, Tyler, what was his form in Street Fighter 4? Not Shinakuma. I mean, Shinakuma would. Yeah, Goki. Yeah, I mean, Shinakuma would definitely body Akuma. Would body Thanos without it. But yeah, I think Akuma in general would body Thanos. It wouldn't even be close. Yosh! All right, everybody. No, nothing. No. Okay. All right. Oh, there you go. Maybe next week we do video game protagonists who could fight Thanos.
I mean, this was a hard one.
So now, okay, fuck it, we're doing it. No poll this coming week. We're each gonna have two protagonists. One who we believe could beat Thanos without the Infinity Gauntlet. One who we believe Thanos could beat Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. That second one might be harder. It might have to think of some bullshit, but that's the point of this. It's still so fun. So let us know, what final bosses do you think could beat Thanos with or without the Infinity Gauntlet?
There you go. Instead of a poll, we'll just have, like, user submissions.
Yes. So be sure to add us this week, and we'll read them. If we get enough of them, if we get any, we'll read them off next week. But we're each going to have at least two, one with and one without. So if you want to submit one yours, one without, so go ahead and do that. All right. That is going to do it for this week's episode. Justin, please tell the beautiful people where they can find your stuff at.
Well, the beautiful people could no, I'm kidding. You can find me if you look for Zero Score on Twitter or YouTube or Twitch. We stream this show on Mondays on my Twitch, and I also stream on Thursday nights. I think I'm gonna drop Friday. I wasn't really feeling it when I started it, and then now I'm, my schedule's limited, so I'm just gonna call it. But Thursdays will still be multiplayer stuff. It's a lot of fun. And I'm doing some video stuff. I've still got the first part of the Ratchet and Clank retrospective out there. I just put out a mobile game review on Diecast. I'm going to try to get like one of those a week out, until I get I'm hoping to have the second part of the Ratchet and Clank video out by the time Rift Apart comes out, and then I'll do a review of that on its own. That's my current plan. And yeah, also me and Tyler do. I keep forgetting to promote this. Me and Tyler do Atomic Shart, which has generally been coming out on Sundays. We're having some issues finding a set time to record and stuff, but yeah, the next one of that is out, I should say, is Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. Good grief. I got so caught up in my Crocomire joke, I couldn't remember the last movie.
That's next week, Justin.
Yeah. And then next week, we've got Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus, continuing our fun Mega Shark series that hopefully will continue to be good.
All right. Tyler, where can the beautiful people find your stuff at?
You can follow me on Twitter at HeyIt'sThatTy, and if you search for Tire Shoes Reviews on YouTube, you'll be able to find my YouTube channel. I have currently made 4 videos on fighting games so far. I am currently in the process of making my next one, so hopefully that comes out within the next week or so. As Justin mentioned before, we also have Atomic Shart, which comes out every Sunday. We're still figuring out the process for that. Where we pretty much review bad monster movies from the Asylum, though the last one admittedly wasn't that bad, so, you know.
It was totally watchable. Kind of
Absolutely.
upsettingly so.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Our whole gimmick!
Yep, right down the shitter, where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that my schedule has been completely revamped, I am currently free on all evenings, so I am planning on doing live streaming again. I forget what my Twitch is called. I believe it's twitch.tv/TireShoes1, and I am planning to stream every Saturday evening at 7 Central Standard Time. I probably want to get into playing some Fire Emblem 3 Houses again. Just do that on a weekly basis. That'll probably be fun. And that's it for me.
All right, and you can catch me at twitter.com/marvelousiggy for all things related to the self-proclaimed marvelous one. My revamp video is expected to come out this week. I recorded footage for it today, and just got to do the voiceover and edit it down to some interesting bits, which might be hard because it's Earthbound, but whatever, it's fine.
None of it's interesting.
Yes. And that'll be coming out, so I hope I can channel. It's been a while since I've done a video. I apologize for the humongous delay. But a lot of things have been going on since the Hades one back in March. But I look forward to it that coming out this week. By the time this episode's out, either the Earthbound video will be out the day after, or be out by the time this episode is already out. And of course, you catch me live at 2 times a week at twitch.tv/Iggy214 at Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sundays, I'm sorry, Indivisible. Sundays are officially Mass Effect nights. I talked about earlier, it's streamed remaster. That's just Invisible's going to go on the back burner for a bit, which is good because I think I hit a point.
Mass, you know?
Yes. Tuesdays will still be co-op day with Tyler. We'll probably still be playing Monster Hunter. Maybe we'll play something else in the future, but for now, Monster Hunter is the name of the game. And of course, Wednesday, it's my RPG night, which is odd because I'm playing an RPG on Sunday as well for Mass Effect. Whatever, it's fine. It doesn't become an RPG after the first game, anyways. But that is Grandia. We had our first stream this past Wednesday, and that was a lot of fun to play that game. Bad audio mixing and all. And of course, be sure to go to charshot.com for all Charshot related content. We are bumming with content. We got Voices of the Vanguard, which is back. We have, of course, this show, Charshot's Gamescast. We have Atomic Shot, which you can go listen to all those beautiful episodes that Tara and I recorded. We have Atomic Shart. Fuck, why did I green like that?
It's great.
And then, of course, coming soon, we will have Cinema Shot, Tyler and I's new show, which is basically spinning out of Atomic Shot, where we will be reviewing series of movies, franchises of movies per series. So coming up is the first episode will be Justice League Flashpoint, where it was me, Barry memes all day long. And of course, thank you all for listening. Despite the heaviness of the ending of the episode, I hope you stick around with us going further. But that's gonna do it for this time. And until next time, guys, stay charged. Have a good night, everybody.
That reminds me, I need to charge my phone.